Well, hello and welcome to the Sudoku channel. This is Oliver coming to you from y'all by the sea in Ireland over here in Europe, and this is part 2 of a two-part. We're looking back at the archives from the Telegraph newspaper in the UK at their Diabolical Sudokus, and this is their number 5487 of the 7th of May 2021. Now down below you'll see a link to part 1 where we started off with this puzzle and we tried to see could we come to a conclusion, and we didn't. We were using, in part 1, we just used the basic solving techniques. So at the end I said, what I'll do now is I'll put in all the candidates for all the cells and we go from there. And that is where we are here. And I've just noticed, and I should have noticed it before, we have just 2 cells here. So that'll be a conjugate pair on 3, 8. And it is going to be in terms of a row only, so that would be a blue. Okay, now where are we going to go from here? I want to switch over from this software to another software. I think it's called Sudoku, and let me get that up for you now. And here we have it. This is the Sudoku software. I like this one, but there's a lot of things about this one that I absolutely detest. But one of the things I like about it is that you can colour a specific candidate in a cell, for example, make that an orange or not an orange. Now, when I started here, I said, okay, let's, for example, if we say that there is a 9 there, well, let's see what effect that would have. So anything that is true is orange, and anything that's not true is, I decided to go as a purple. So if that is a 9, then it's not a 4. That is not a 9 there. And that not being a 4 would mean this one down here being a 4. And you can go around and just see, well, what effect will it have? And I noticed it caused a bit of a contradiction over here in terms of the 8s. So I said, okay, let's go back now and see, is there any way that I can work out, instead of being able to say that I did something wrong here maybe, what 8 I can get rid of around here. And I eventually came up with a type of chain starting here and ending here. So the target for that is going to be this 8 here. So I should be able to get rid of this 8 here. And the way it works is this. If this is not an 8, and there are only 2 8s in this column, so if that's not an 8, then this one must be an 8. And if that's an 8, all of these 8s here are not 8s. So if that and that is not an 8, then this one must be an 8. So if that's not an 8, this is an 8. And to prove that it's a valid chain, you should be able to go back from here saying, well, okay, if this is not an 8, what can that do? Gets a bit complicated. If that's not an 8, then either this one or this one is an 8. One of those 2 will be an 8. And since one of those 2 will be an 8, this one will not be an 8. And if that's not an 8, this one is an 8. So whichever way you go, either this one or this one is guaranteed to be an 8, which means this one here cannot be an 8. Alright, so that will not be an 8. Let's get rid of the colours now, and if that's not an 8, then it must be a 1. And that immediately brings us, this is what I don't like about it, it gets rid of candidates automatically. I'm sure there's some way around that, but I don't know what it is. And I think this is going to solve the puzzle for us. That means it must be a 5. Must be a 1, must be a 3, must be an 8. You see, it goes a little bit too quickly for me. And you're just going around with them. But it's a nice way of just highlighting something at the start. And 9, that would be an 8. Those are 2 3s, 4 5s. The 1 there, yeah, sure, look. This is it. But on the other hand, it means that you're not looking at me floundering around the puzzle trying to keep track of all the different ones that I have to delete and making mistakes along the way. This does do it a lot faster, and if we just suddenly stopped, I think we have. Now something wrong here, there's a 9 there. 1 and a 3, which give us a 1, and we have a 9 here. I'm going to put in the 2 first, give us the 3 and the 5. And that'll bring us to 2 there and the 3. And we have a 2 there and a 5 and a 4, giving us the 9. And we have the 4 there. And we have the 5. Okay, that's probably the quickest one I've ever done. I don't know how many minutes it was, but that's it. The only thing there in that puzzle, which wasn't much, was to try and sort out the 8. I put in that little bit of a chain. Usually if there's some sort of a chain like that, you'll probably find that there's an X-wing there somewhere as well. And it'd be interesting to see how the G's solve it yourselves. Okay, that's it finished. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do like this delving into the past, into the archives of the diabolical Sudokus from the Telegraph, be sure and give a thumbs up and comments, and of course subscribe so that you can click the bell and you'll know automatically when the next one is out, and hopefully the next one will be out next Friday. Alright, so that's it for now. Slán tamil.